Hey, good morning. Let's talk about it. Are you ready? This is JB Portillo here with Bella Vista Community TV, and I have a I'm going to say fun because it's a very interesting topic today, and we'd like to make it fun. It's a very serious topic, but we have some very special guests with us here today. This is Tiffany
Boyle.
Yep. Okay, and you are the lead person at Therapeutic Foster Care, correct?
Yeah.
I know you have an organization.
Yes, Arisa Health.
Yes.
We're a community mental health agency, and we have a therapeutic foster care program.
Would you like to introduce your
Sure.
right-hand man?
This
or left-hand man?
This is Hayley Boles. She is one of our TFC therapists. And then we have Layne Shelton and Maggie Shelton. They're a TFC family.
Wow. So we're going to get the whole gamut today, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and get started and tell us your elevator speech all about your company.
Okay. So our therapeutic foster care program is we serve kids that have started off in traditional foster care, and they're really struggling being in foster care. They come into care because of neglect or abuse, and then being removed, separated from their family is another trauma. And so they have big feelings, and that comes out in their behaviors. They tend to act out their emotions as opposed to talk them out. And that gets the attention of adults. It's hard to manage those behaviors and to parent kids that are not your own. And so that's when they get a referral for therapeutic foster care.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What age groups, Tiffany?
We take kiddos from ages 4 through 17.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot of feelings
Yes,
and a lot of not enough words yet,
right,
right?
for sure.
So what happens when somebody checks in? What's the first thing that happens with those children?
When they come into one of our therapeutic foster homes, we provide our parents and the kiddo with a therapist, with a behavior specialist. They get a lot of services. Like we go into the home and work with the families, sibling interactions, all the different things that are happening in the home. We go into the school and work with the kids there and the teachers. And we just really try to wrap around our parents and provide as much support as possible to them.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of a therapeutic foster home is to stabilize the child so that they're ready for their forever home, whether that's going back and being reunified with their biological family, who have also done a lot of work to get their children back, or it may be adoption, and we want those adoptions to be successful. So we work very closely with the family. We try to wrap around them and support them in all of the different ways that are needed. Therapy, navigating the courts, financially, education. We want them to, understand where these kids are coming from, why they're acting the way they are. Yeah.
Some of the reason I say this is when I was in Houston, I was, I guess every state calls it something different, but kind of CASA. Mm-hmm. So I
Yes.
represented some folks in court.
Okay.
I was kind of their advocate.
Yeah.
Wow, heartbreaking.
Oh, for sure.
And the interesting part was, to me, the fact that somebody's working with the parents from which the child has been removed,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that's hard.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the children, that's their connection to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where. So the ultimate goal then really is to, if at all possible, reunite them with their parent?
Typically, that's the court's first goal.
Yeah.
They prefer reunification, but a lot of times that isn't possible for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The biological parents have to do a lot of work. Sometimes they're dealing with things like addiction or incarceration. It varies. Every family situation is going to be different. A lot of times when kids come into therapeutic foster care, they've already been in foster care for a little while. They've been in a traditional foster home first. And so oftentimes the parental rights have already been terminated or in the process of that happening. And so a lot of our kids are available for adoption, but we see both sides. Yeah.
Are there enough homes for people?
No, not enough. We don't have enough foster homes in the state of Arkansas of any kind, but especially not therapeutic homes. There's the ratio for children to beds in the state of Arkansas is 0.75, meaning there's 0.75 beds for each child. Not enough. But we get lots and lots of referrals on a weekly basis for kids in traditional foster care needing a therapeutic home, and we have very few therapeutic homes.
Gotcha.
So those children remain in traditional foster care, and oftentimes that leads to them bouncing from home to home to home, because those traditional foster homes, there's great ones out there, and there's others that are very well intentioned, but they don't have the support needed to really manage or to give the kids what they need to meet their needs, because they're challenging. And so our therapeutic program provides that extra support.
So Hayley, what's a typical day like for you?
It's different every day. I would say like the goal is that we're trying to provide as much certainty and predictability and structure for these kids as we can, and that can also look like working with the parents to provide them education on how to do that and what that looks like. And we talk a lot about trying to provide that structure and predictability, and at the same time you have to be really flexible, because ultimately we're trying to meet kids and families where they're at, because that's how people succeed, is by meeting them where they're at and accepting where they are to help them to move forward. So a typical day for me might include doing some like parent-only family sessions with biological parents who are working on trying to reunify with their kids. I do a lot of play therapy with younger kids, so a lot of individual work with kids who are in foster care. And I also do a lot of work with all of the therapeutic foster care families to help them figure out what they need in their home. It's really important to me to look at like the whole family perspective of it. Kids don't exist without a family around them. And so to support the whole family, be that the foster family, the adoptive family, or the biological family. So I do a lot of work with all of the family members that are involved.
So is it always in an office, or do you go around and meet in their own environment, or what?
Yeah, so it's not always in the office. I also go to our TFC homes. We do home visits for them, because typically kids might not have the same behaviors in a school setting that they might have in the home setting, because part of when you're in foster care, you've had hard experiences with adults and like the adults that are in charge of taking care of you. And so it might be harder in a situation in the home setting where you're not sure if you're safe, because our goal is to help kids feel safe, but they have to believe that they're safe. Felt safety is something that we really work on. So I do work with kids in the home setting. I also will go to kids' schools to work with them also. I try to be really flexible and like meet people where they're needing that support.
Is there just one of you?
Right now we have 2 therapists that work with all of our therapeutic foster care families.
Okay, boy, you've got a busy schedule then if you have way more people than, wow.
Yeah, she works hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just, for now, talk to let the audience know if they wanted to get more information or they wanted to talk to you. Let's put some stuff up on the screen, but I'd also like you to tell them how they might be helpful to you,
Okay.
what you need, and where they could call or email.
Okay. Well, we definitely need foster homes, people that want to open their home to these kiddos, so full-time foster parents. We also need respite parents, which play like a babysitter to our full-time parents. You get all of the same training that our parents get. We support you the same way, but it's a very part-time basis. Maybe you take a child for a weekend or a week, give the family a break, so that they can, just have some self-care time. So we need full-time parents, we need respite parents. If you want to get in touch with me, you can call 479-640-2237, or you can email tfc.outreach@arisahealth.org. I also have some Zoom sessions set up, informational meetings. I have one a month set up, so you can always join one of those Zoom meetings and get more information. I'll talk about more about what our needs are and what the qualifications are to become a TFC family, what the process looks like to become a TFC family, things like that. And then I have a couple of events that I'm tabling at as well. You could come out and see me at those. I'm going to be at the Bentonville Square on November 18th from 4 to 6 for the Santa's Workshop, and I'll have a fun activity for the kids. And then I'll be at the United Methodist Church in Springdale on December 3rd from 8 a.m. to noon for a kind of a Christmas market. And those are great opportunities to get more information as well.
So is this Benton County, Washington County, Northwest Arkansas? What
question.
Area?
We serve all of Northwest Arkansas with our program. So Benton County, Washington, Carroll, Madison, and Boone.
Okay. That's a lot to cover.
Yes. We have an office in Springdale, and we have an office in Harrison. So.
Okay, thank you. My mind just went blank. Tell me though, let's work this out on set. How did we meet, you and I? Why are we here today?
I go out and network a lot to try to raise awareness, and there was a networking event that was here at the TV station, so that's how I heard about the
Business
station.
Association.
Yes,
All
Bella
right.
Vista Business Association.
Okay, good.
So we didn't meet personally that day, but that's how I heard about the TV station, and then you and I are both master naturalists.
That's
So, yeah.
right. You're a master naturalist.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So were you listening the first show today
No.
when we talked about Living Forest?
No.
Oh, we'll talk later.
yeah.
I am a big giant ant at Living Forest. But
Fun.
anyway, so let's talk a little bit about how you. Let's talk a little bit to Layne.
Yes.
And you are a foster mom, a therapeutic foster mom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to talk a lot about them in the second part here. But how did you find Layne?
Well, when I started with the program, she was already with us, but it was one of our foster parents that was already a TFC home, I guess, that met her. Was it through church or?
We become friends.
And so they got to talking, and the other foster mom talked to her, and they decided to come on board.
So what are the, just the nutshell parts, because I know it's probably pretty in-depth, but what would be the qualifications, the basic qualifications to be a foster family?
You have to pass, a series of background checks and things like that. There's, paperwork to do. You have to be at least 21 years of age. We don't have any requirements as far as, it doesn't matter if you're married or if you're single. Your sexual orientation, things like that do not matter. We don't discriminate. That has no bearing on how you can parent. But just really have a willingness to work with the team and implement, what's best for the child. We want our parents to be very involved in the treatment process with these kids, and just, what that looks like in their home and yeah. So somebody who can provide stability and consistency, but yet be flexible enough to change with the ever-changing needs of the kids.
So you said they have to be at least 21 years of age.
Yeah.
Is there a top limit?
Not for fostering. If they choose to adopt, then there are some rules in place of age difference between the children and the parents. Mm-hmm. We have foster families in their 70s, so age is not something that should hold you back.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That really is, because sometimes everybody has their gifts and their abilities to do that, but sometimes, after, if you've been a grandma, you have a little more patience sometimes because you've been through a lot, right? Yeah. Right. I mean, you're not even close, but at any rate. All right, I tell you what, this is great, and we're going to get more in depth here in a minute. We're going to talk to you, and we're going to talk to your biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
To see what all that is like. But what we're going to do here is take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So now let's get the other side of the coin. So Layne, tell me about you and how long you've been doing this and maybe why.
I am married, so my husband and I have been doing this for about 10 years. We have 4 biological children and started when Maggie was about 5 years old, so been doing it a while. We do it because we have a heart for children. We, of course, have 4 that we have watched grow up and think that other children deserve a safe place to be angry and to work through their emotions and to, learn to be healthily attached to a family and all of that. So we wanted those children that have been taken from their homes to have the opportunity to have some semblance of family the way that our biological children have been able to.
Gotcha. So Maggie, since you were 5 years old, you've been helping.
Yes, I have.
How is it for you?
It's difficult at times, but whenever I look at the actual big picture of it, it is all worth it.
Yeah. Do you get attached to some of these? Look at her.
I
smiling.
do.
So, is that something you can share? Can you tell me a story about that? Or is there somebody that's you're sorry you lost, or that they're still there, or?
Yes. So a couple years ago, there were these kids that were placed in our home, and when he was placed, he was 3 years old. He was turning 4 though. And so we got to basically raise him since he was a baby. He was almost nonverbal, so he would use sign language that he created up. But we were able to help teach him what a family is and like how to talk and everything.
So he could talk, he just didn't.
Yes.
Sign language. So you figured it out pretty quickly, or?
We had some issues at times,
Yeah.
but yeah, we were able to figure it out pretty easily.
Yeah. That's interesting. How did this all work with you? That particular situation. Did you get him to talk?
He did. When he first came in, like some of the things he would do if he wanted a drink, he would show us, a cup, or if he was talking about a ball, he would just bounce his hand, and then we just kept working with him. And so when he would do things like that, we would say, "Oh, you're bouncing a ball," and so he started to pick up on that, and was talking pretty soon after coming in.
So how long was he with you?
5 years.
Wow, no wonder you got attached. Yeah. So you think you might continue to do this when you grow up?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like? Well, you have 4 children of your own, and if she's your oldest, they're still pretty young.
She's actually the youngest of the 4.
Oh, okay. I thought you were the queen bee.
So, no.
Okay, so well, tell me about that. They're all still at home?
No. So we have Maggie, who is 15, and then we have an 18-year-old who is still at home, just graduated, and then we have 2 adult daughters.
Gotcha. Okay. So and you said you decided to come to do this because you have a heart for children, but did you contact Tiffany? Well, Tiffany wasn't there, but did you contact the organization, or how did that all start for you?
Yeah, so we were friends with a couple at church who had been doing therapeutic foster care for a while, and so we got to watch what they did and how they did it, and how important it was and what an impact they were making on their children. And so she got us in contact with who was Tiffany at the time, and we set it up and started the training, and the rest is history.
There's no looking back.
No looking back.
No looking back. I think you have a little bit of a video, a little bit coming up here. I'm going to give them a chance to get that up on the screen. But it must be very. There we go. Let's watch this one.
You've got a whole team, a whole family of people surrounding you. And that's one of the things I love most about TFC is I don't feel like I'm sitting here advocating for my kids by myself. I have a support group.
We do therapy at least one time a week, so we have our therapist. We have our case managers who come into our homes, and they will go to the schools to see the kids. They see them when we're here for therapy also. If we are in crisis, if we have a child in crisis, then they jump in and will come to the house if needed, or go with us to hospitals, or help us get whatever we need to help get our kiddo safe.
Open your heart. I mean, it's a simple procedure. I mean, just think about it. Homes are needed. Families are needed. If you can just do one child at a time, it's such a reward.
Wow. Okay, that adds a little bit more to the cause here, and how I'm just sitting here thinking how difficult it must be. What do you have a therapist? I mean, do you have somebody you can talk to when you need to?
We do, yes. Our therapist who works with our children, this round is not Hayley, the child that we have right now, but the one that we do, we get to talk with her. But then we also have outside therapists who we have utilized when needed, because
Yes.
that's important too.
Absolutely. So you have one foster child right now, you said?
We have one placement right now.
One placement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So, let's go over this one more time. If anybody would like to wants more information, they would like to foster, they would like to help in any way, let's go over it one more time so that the folks out there can actually get a hold of you if they need to.
Sure. Yeah, if you're interested in fostering, or you know somebody who might be, or you just have questions, I'm happy to just talk and inform. Feel free to call me or email me. tfc.outreach@arisahealth.org is the email. My phone number is 479-640-2237. And then I do have several Zoom sessions set up as well. So you can reach out and get the information for that, or I believe they have the link. I don't know if that'll come up on the screen. But yeah, and I'll be at those events, like I mentioned, at Bentonville Square on November 18th from 4 to 6, or United Methodist Church in Springdale on December 3rd from 8 to noon.
Gotcha, okay. So as encouragement to somebody that would like to do this, what would you say to somebody that's thinking about doing this?
Do it.
Do it?
Do it. It is hard, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it when you get to watch those children become more healthy and more vibrant and more attached, a healthy attachment. So yeah, it is completely worth it.
Yeah. How about you? You glad you did this? You glad you lived through this?
Yes, I am very glad.
Yeah, yeah. That's it must be really difficult. Do you have special events for the kids in the home? I mean, is there some sort of entertainment, or is it mostly about just learning to be within the family?
It's mostly about learning to be a family, to live in a healthy, safe, environment and family, and to attach, so that when they're forever home, or if they get to go back to their biological parents, so that attachment, they've learned how to attach to healthy adults, and so hopefully their attachments will be healthy when they get back or go to an adoptive home.
Do any of your those you fostered ever contact you after they've grown up and gone away?
Yes.
Really? Is there anything you can share there that makes your heart happy?
They are thriving and doing really, really well, and we get pictures and some information here and there. So, yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Is that pretty common for foster families to actually have this same sort of experience?
I mean, it definitely varies from child to child. Every experience is different, but there's a lot of wonderful stories. It's the kiddos come in and they're in a really hard place, and we see progress, and every little piece of progress is something to celebrate. I think Layne mentioned earlier, progress for a TFC parent may look like they had 2 tantrums this week instead of 3. But it's progress, and it's slow, and they weren't hurt overnight. They're not going to heal overnight. These kiddos are hurt within relationships, but that's where they heal too. So it's hard to get attached, and it's hard to say goodbye to them when they leave your home, but that's what they need. They need that attachment. They need that relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. What advice do you have for people that are thinking about fostering, or that have, what do you recommend to people? What can they do to help?
I think like one of the biggest qualities that it takes to be able to be a therapeutic foster care parent is coming to terms with the fact that you're going to have to do some work on yourself also, because the way that we help kids change, the adult has to change first. And I think that's something that might be different about therapeutic foster care compared to traditional foster care, is we really want to give our therapeutic foster care parents the support that it takes to self-reflect and like be able to give kids a space where it's okay for them to feel angry, but teaching them that you can be angry and be safe at the same time. And that takes a lot of willingness to open yourself up to all of that personal growth that's going to have to come too. We don't just expect the kids to change, we expect the people around them to grow with them.
So there's no boilerplate. Every situation, everyone, every time is different. So you can't just say, oh, that worked, let me do this. Can't do that, can
No, and I think that's what we see a lot is like, you have to have a toolbox, and we really want to help our therapeutic foster parents like grow their toolbox and have a lot of tools to handle all the things that are going to come up, because those things are happening in traditional foster care, and in therapeutic foster care we want to help everyone to be successful to handle all those things that are going to come up.
I like what you said about self-reflection, because at any age, whether you're fostering children or anything else, you need to be willing to learn and unlearn and relearn
Yes.
things that get you through life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, last minute words for anybody? You said earlier, you kind of summed it up in 2 words, just do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and you're going to continue to do this.
We are.
Good job. Okay. All right, well, any last word? Well, I don't mean last word.
You know, if there's any traditional foster parents out there that are fostering, and you know, you're going to have those hard kids in your home, and you're going to struggle. And if you feel like this is something you want to continue doing, but you're just not sure because you feel like you need more support, therapeutic foster care is a great way to go. You already have those kids, you're already doing the hard work. Come on over and let us give you this support. Let us wrap around you. We just provide as much as we can to parents. And like financially too, we pay considerably more. We do expect more, but if you're already doing that work, then you may as well be getting the benefits of it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, listen, you know, this is a little bit of an unusual turn for talking about it, but I like to keep it open so that no matter what, I think this is one of those things that not a lot of people do talk about, but they need to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being here
Thank you.
today. I really appreciate it, and I especially, you two are awesome, and we so appreciate you, but both of you here, thank you. Thank you for everything. See, you're bringing tears to my eyes. Not fair. All right. Well, all right, Bella Vista and beyond, let's talk about it in about another month. I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about yet, but it will be awesome regardless. And Tiffany and crew, anytime you want to come back, if you have something new going on, if there's any way we can help you at all, just, you know my number.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next month for Let's Talk About It.